Right, let's address the elephant in the room about AI implementation. Everyone's running pilots, everyone's got a ChatGPT subscription, and everyone thinks they're doing artificial intelligence. But here's what no one is talking about. LLMs only get you 90% of the way. And here's the thing. That final 10% isn't about prompt engineering or finding the next best model. It's a bit more fundamental. How you manage the information these models actually see. This is context engineering. Over the next 10 minutes, I'll show you exactly how enterprises are using context engineering to turn their AI pilots into competitive moats. So if you're sitting on AI initiatives that aren't quite delivering their promised return on investment, pay attention. This might be the missing piece. Which brings us to the strategic question that we should all be asking before we start any AI initiative. Are your AI pilots creating value or eroding it? Industry tracking shows that a significant share of AI initiatives miss their return on investment because they float outside core workflows and business context. That pattern drains budgets, invites compliance risk, and weighs on how the market reads your operational discipline. Why does this happen? Look at the default state of the LLM or generative AI as a technology. Out of the box, large language models are trained on past data. They don't see your Q3 pipeline, your new HR policy, or yesterday's customer escalation. Left unguided, they fabricate. And standing alone, they struggle with narrow, high-value tasks. Treat them as components, not finished systems, especially where legal exposure is real. There has been progress in the LLM space that's also important to talk about, that has meant that we can unlock new value from context engineering. This chart shows one of the most important trends in artificial intelligence today. Not the model intelligence, but the model memory, what we call the context window. In just 5 years, the amount of information a model can hold in its working memory at any one time has grown by over 1,000 times. We've gone from a few paragraphs with GPT-2 to the equivalent of the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy with Gemini 2.5 Pro. This is a phase change. It's the technical leap that makes true multi-step AI agents that can read, understand, and act upon vast amounts of your internal documentation, not just possible, but inevitable. So we need a discipline that turns raw data into reliable instructions. Context engineering is the operating discipline. Take your contracts, tickets, CRM nodes, financials, then retrieve, compress, format, and cache them so the model works with the right facts at the right time. The funnel shows the journey from messy repositories to precise, auditable action. This is how you build your moat around your data. Here's the method step by step. First, build an enterprise memory. Unify data sources. Chunk documents at natural boundaries and label them with owners and dates. Use hybrid retrieval, lexical plus vectors, then re-rank semantically. Return answers with citations so anyone can click back to the source. Memory is only useful if you keep the signal tight. Second, control what gets into the model's context. Use techniques that find the right data, compress them aggressively, and order them to avoid the lost in the middle effect. Add a self-critique step for higher risk work. Third, structure the outputs and scale. Enforce JSON schemas so your responses fit your systems. Attach provenance, document IDs, sections, timestamps for audit trails. Add semantic caching at the gateway to cut latency and cost. What happens when you apply all of these methods to enterprise? Here's a real-world receipt. Stanford and MIT tracked over 5,000 customer support agents using a grounded, company-trained assistant, one that injects the right playbooks and product facts into each chat at the right time. With the right context in the window, productivity rose 14%. Manager escalations fell about 25% from a 6% baseline. Customer sentiment ticked up about 0.18, roughly half a standard deviation. And for new hires, the rollout was associated with a 40% drop in attrition, about 10 points off a 25% baseline. This isn't about bigger models, it's about engineered context. Retrieval brings the evidence, verification checks it. In controlled studies, chain of verification lifts factual scores by about 28%, and retrieval with critique boosts citation precision and recall. When you discipline context, the economics moves. So how do you institutionalize the discipline? You should anchor this discipline in 4 pillars. The first one, strategy. Link AI to core KPIs. Secondly, robust governance. Ensure you're aligned with the EU AI Act and NIST. 3. Smart infrastructure. Hyperscalers integrate well with the governance fabric. We're a good place to consume models for enterprise workloads. 4. Operational safety. Escalation paths, phased rollouts, weekly scorecards. This is exactly what we codify in the BrainCube Agentic AI Blueprint. It translates context engineering into a board-ready execution, balancing speed with compliance and measurable returns. If your mandate is to shift pilots into assets, this is the framework. The blueprint is available in the description to this video if you would like to download that. The window for taking advantage of this is short. The gains are already visible. Meanwhile, grassroots bring your own AI is rampant. Microsoft reports 78% of employees use it, meaning unmanaged risk unless you set guardrails. Regulators now provide clear deployment routes, and the first to build a context layer around proprietary data will lock in an advantage that compounds. If you're exploring value creation with artificial intelligence, reach out to us or download our AI transformation blueprint.